Week 2, stardom, sit-em, DST. I got 3 defenses you should be starting and 2 defenses you should be sitting. Week 2, we're starting off with the Seahawks in starting lineups going up against those Patriots, man, and Jacoby Brissett. This is a defense that looked a lot like the Ravens defense in the last 2 seasons under Mike Macdonald, making the plays and getting the pressure in the backfield and keeping folks out of the end zone. This is what I'm expecting for the Seahawks going up against Jacoby Brissett and that offensive line, where I feel as though Jacoby Brissett is going to be very uncomfortable in that pocket, and this is where the mistakes are going to happen. These are where the turnovers happen. Fumbles, interceptions, etc., etc. I don't know. I might go on the limb. There might be a pick 6 in this game, so I feel really, really good about putting the Seahawks in my starting lineups. Next up, we're going up with the Tennessee Titans, man, going up against Aaron Rodgers and that offensive line, the Jets. Now, I'm looking at the Titans defense. They impressed me last week, man. Keeping Caleb's debut to having less than 100 passing yards and the total offense to have less than 150. Wow, good job for the Titans, man, coming out hot like that, putting a real big stamp on that. We do not care about your debut. We do not care about your veteran electric wide receiver core. No, we do not care, and we're going to keep you out of the end zone. That's kind of what Tennessee has been known to do, having a hard-nosed defense to keep folks out of the end zone, and I expect that going up against Aaron Rodgers with that Jets offense. They still look like they're still trying to figure some things out because they fell apart against the 49ers on Monday Night Football. Now, this should be the obvious. This should be one of the hottest waiver wire ads this week, and it's the Colts going up against the Packers, who are going to be starting Malik Willis, and this is a guy that really doesn't have a long rap sheet in the NFL. This guy has no touchdowns, but he has 3 interceptions. This is going to be a guy that's just going to be learning on the job. He hasn't had much experience as a starting quarterback in the NFL, so I'm expecting for this Colts defense, who did just get beat up. They did put over 400 yards against C.J. Stroud and the Texans, but listen, that's C.J. Stroud, and they were still able to get after C.J. Stroud with 4 sacks, even though they let up all those yards. Now, I'm looking at this Colts defense as an easy layup here to make Malik Willis a little uncomfortable out of the pocket, and this is where the interceptions happen, the fumbles, and et cetera, et cetera. You create the pressure, you create the sacks, create the turnovers, you get the fantasy points. Now to get into my DST sits for week 2, you're looking at the another red hot defense coming off the waiver wire maybe, is the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, they put a beating to the Giants, but come on, people. This is the Giants, man. You're not going to be some top-tier defense overnight, even though the Vikings have some great pieces on defense. But, man, they're going up against the 49ers. And listen, this is a 49ers team that just went up to one of the best defenses in the NFL and put up 32 points. Not even at full strength with no CMC. Jordan Mason, my guy, the JPM Express. You're looking at an offense like the 49ers that are still able to put up points when you have a rusty Brandon Ayuk not making those diving catches that he usually catches. You're looking at an offense that still was capped and limited by not having their best player on the team being able to put up 32 points against a Minnesota Vikings defense. May seem like light work if they just did that to one of the best defenses in the NFL and the New York Jets. Next up, I got to sit the Miami Dolphins going up against the Buffalo Bills, man. This is a matchup, man, that I like to watch closely because these games are always entertaining. But here, I'm not going to have a game that I really want to watch. It's going to be entertaining both ways, especially with a DST like the Dolphins in my starting lineups. They had a great performance last week. They were a very solid defense that to have. I believe in some leagues they were able to put up 8 points or more, which is fine. They were able to get a fumble recovery, and they were able to get a sack. So here's the thing. Dolphins against Bills, I don't want it. I don't need it because I don't need Josh Allen. That man, number 17, is still dangerous. Put up 4 touchdowns, 2 in the air and 2 on the ground. This is not a defense that I think have learned how to stop a Josh Allen totally completely, because last season they put up 48 points on their head very early in the season. So I'm looking at this defense as a defense that I'd rather just stash if I have a deeper bench, or I would just let go to the wire and pick up some of these other defenses that are probably still out there that you could just slide and plug and play here instead of playing the Dolphins this week. So that wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. Please make sure you guys are leaving a comment below on your start and sit questions, and I'll try my best to get back to them before game time and answer you guys, of course. So please make sure you guys follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.